Ever stare at one of your figure drawings and think, wow, my figure is so stiff, it looks like it's waiting for a bus that's never coming? Well, you're not alone. It's super common for figure drawings to feel stiff, lifeless, and everything but dynamic. And it's not your fault. And don't worry, because if you stick with me through this video, we'll uncover some secrets for transforming your figure sketches from statically stiff to dynamically leaping off the page. Hey there, I'm Mike. I'm a former Walt Disney animation artist. Yep, I had the privilege of working on some of the greatest animated films of all time, and also the incredibly good fortune to learn how to draw the human figure dynamically from Disney legends like Walt Stanchfield and Glenn Vilppu. My mission now is to pass that wisdom on to you, to help you break free from the stress of trying to literally copy the human figure, and to instead make dynamic figure sketches that are full of life. So if all that sounds great to you, hit that subscribe button so that you'll get notified about my next video, and let's get started. Alright, let's be real. You've probably tried everything to make your figure sketches less rigid, haven't you? And frustratingly, they still look static and lifeless. Trust me, I get it. I've been there, drowning in a pile of eraser shavings, wondering why my drawings look like they're stuck in a permanent freeze frame. That's frustration. It's real, and it can sap your motivation to sketch even. But don't throw your pencils out the window just yet. We're about to unravel why those figures are stiff and how to fix it. But don't worry, I'm here to cut through the noise. If you hang out with me until the end of this video, you're going to walk away with a clear understanding of why your figure drawings look rigid. More importantly, I'm going to share some straightforward practical tips you can start using right away to breathe life into those figure sketches. This isn't about turning you into a master artist overnight or chasing picture-perfect drawings. It's about giving you the tools to draw with more confidence so you can stop second-guessing every line and start enjoying the process. By the time we're done, you'll feel ready to tackle your sketchbook with a new sense of ease and watch your figures start to move on the page. So, let's get started. In my decades of teaching figure drawing, I've had hundreds of students come to me confused and frustrated about the stiffness of their figure drawings. I understand their and your frustration because I've been there too. I've also seen my students transform their drawings from rigid and static to loose and dynamic. And not through some technical trick, but by adjusting their mindset about the sketching process. Walt Stanchfield, one of my Disney figure sketching teachers, whose legendary notes were put together in a 2-book series called Drawn to Life, gave us the secret of this mindset that helps us get more life into our drawings, which is to get more interested in the figure's pose by not just seeing the parts of the figure's body. Because when we do that, we are trying to copy what we see. Walt said that instead, we need to see the action of the pose, what the person is doing. One very memorable way that Walt helped us to get this concept into our heads was when he would say, "A figure sketch is not a still life." Recalling short humorous phrases of Walt's like that has had a big impact on my transformation to sketching the figure dynamically. I hope you'll remember it too. You love sketching the figure. I know you do. But sometimes your drawings come out looking rigid and lifeless. Before we continue with this video, I want to put something really valuable into your hands that is going to make a big difference in your figure sketches right away. It's a totally free PDF called 7 Principles in 7 Days to Bring Your Figure Drawings to Life. Just click on the link in the first comment below this video or go to www thesketchexperience.com/7principles7days to get your free guide. So to get to dynamic, we need to do three things. First, we need to see and name the action. We need to get specific by naming it. Two, we need to feel the action and the verb of the action. And three, we need to sketch the action and the verb of the action loosely. So we're focusing on action and not things, in this case, body parts. So when Walt said a figure sketch is not a still life, he continued on to say a figure sketch is a sketch of a person doing something. So we need to get involved and interested in the pose by asking the question, what is the figure doing specifically? One of the figure references that I have my students sketch from often is a wonderful compilation of old Hollywood stars dancing in old musical films. I'll put a link to the video below. Let's look at a few of these dynamic dance poses together so we can put these three ideas into action. Here's a short section from that compilation of old Hollywood musicals. This is from a 1953 film called Kiss Me, Kate. So let's look at this short segment of action, and then we'll look at a pose to analyze for naming the verb. So I said that we need to name the verb of the action, but in reality there can be several, like a general verb describing the overall action of the pose, and then there can be other verbs to describe other actions within the main action. The point of all this naming is to get us involved and interested in the pose, what the figures are doing, so that we can sketch it. So the overall verb for the male figure could be many things. Could be boasting or showing off. It really doesn't matter what verb you give or assign to the action. The important thing is to look for it, to look for the verb, to try and get specific. Now for the female figure, it's pretty subtle. It could be something like being coy, like being shy. So that action relates to an attitude, just like boasting and showing off of the other figure relates also to his attitude. So instead of thinking about and seeing parts of figures, parts of bodies, we're looking for action and attitude, which means we're looking for the story that's behind the obvious. Some other verbs that describe other actions within the overall action. For example, for the male figure, it looks like he's pointing at her, and he's definitely kneeling and leaning, right? For the female figure, she's leaning away from him, which contributes to the idea or impression that she's being kind of coy. Some other actions within her overall action are the pushing out or jutting out of her hip, her right hip, the step of her left foot, and the bending of her left arm and her left hand toward her neck, which also adds to that sense or impression that she's being kind of coy. All of these verbs help us understand their poses and the intention and story behind their actions. Now, let's talk about the next step of feeling the pose, what Walt Stanchfield called using our kinesthetic sense. Naming and writing down the verb of the action is great and important, but you need to go another step to get even more involved, to make the pose feel personal and not something that's out there on the figure, whether it's a figure model or a reference video or a photo, doesn't matter. So that extra effort that you need to make is to feel the pose in your own body. This is what Walt Stanchfield called kinesthetic, that just means related to movement, kinesthetic participation in the pose, in the process of sketching the pose. And it takes time to develop, but we can all develop it. You can start out just thinking about it in your head, and then you can actually do the pose that the figure is doing. Sometimes Walt Stanchfield would even have us doing that during the class. He would tell everybody, get up and do the pose that the model is doing, so that we could have that kinesthetic participation to help us get into that. So by doing this, getting into the kinesthetic sense, you are being more fully involved, and it will definitely show in your figure sketch. When you hold your pencil or pen tightly near the end, near the point, you can end up drawing the figure slowly and can also become overly careful and also overthink what you're doing. Moving your hand back on your pencil, something like this, helps you to sketch more quickly and more loosely. And by sketching loosely and quickly, you'll make big connections and relationships within the pose, and connect the head down to the feet early on in the process, which gives you an understanding of the whole pose. And if you're sketching the verb that you thought of for the action, and I know it can sound and feel kind of strange at first to move your hand back because it can feel a little bit scary, but when you let go of some of the control of your drawing tool, you get a lot back in return. It helps you to let your natural ability take over, and definitely for you to sketch more loosely, which means a more dynamic drawing. So like Walt said in one of his notes, let your pencil do the drawing. All of these 3 practical tips help you to become more interested and more involved in the process of observing and learning about the pose, and then in the process of putting your interpretation of the pose down on the page. And they all help you to replace a copying what you see literally mindset with an experimenting as I learn about this pose mindset as you're sketching. Walt calls this mindset being the director of your sketch, which we will definitely talk about more in a future video. Have fun putting these ideas and practical tips into practice. A great place to begin is to start by writing down on your drawing page and thinking about the verb of the action that you thought up as you're sketching the figure. And let me know about your experience with it in the comment section. Hey, that was fun. If you've enjoyed and gotten something out of this video, you'll want to check out this one next. And please hit the share button to let your fellow figure drawing enthusiasts know about it, and also the subscribe button so you'll be sure to know when I put out the next one. See you in the next video.